Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Today's upload is going to be a video on the long range outlook, long range update. There are many things to talk about this month, upcoming month, December. Today's December 1st, meteorological first day of winter. It's looking very interesting. It's going to be very hard to forecast. So I'm just letting you know that this is going to be a journey, but we will go on it together. So if you want to join my journey, if you want to join my adventurous channel, everything that I do, just click that subscribe button and maybe click that notification bell icon. That basically notifies you every time I make a video, and it's a win-win. You get my notifications and I get your support, so thank you for doing so. We're looking right now at the GFS. There's this big storm going on. I made a video, 2 videos on it in the past couple of days. I won't be focusing on it much. We'll be looking at the long range more in this video. So we go through time, and this storm passes through, bringing some cooler air into the central part of the country. You could see 540 line, which is basically where the pressure is, where it's basically the rain snow line, and that's where the 32-degree line, somewhere maybe plus or minus a couple of millibars in pressure, that's basically where it is. We go through in time. We're looking at some scattered snow showers down in the Ohio Valley, another potential storm making landfall onto the California coast. Overall, though, for the next couple of days, fairly quiet and cold. But then we start getting a little bit more active. We see some more precip coming into the cold air, which would be snow. We start seeing another system potentially starting to get its act up together. This storm down in California doesn't necessarily make its, full-blown landfall. You can see it kind of stays off coast and slithers down into southern, or I should say northern Mexico, southern United States, and then it erupts into the United States, where the Gulf, where the subtropical jet stream just lifted up into the United States, and we were looking at some fairly potential for some severe weather maybe, but depending on how cold air will be and the placement of the storm, we could be looking at a fairly significant snow setting up across these parts of the woods. This is next Sunday, December 9th, 2018. And this looks actually very similar to that one storm we had. If you recall, the Weather Channel named it Winter Storm Avery. That's probably not what you remember it by. Maybe it's that, the snowstorm where New York City got 6 inches, upstate New York got hammered. It was a very early season snowstorm. I think it happened somewhere around the 15th, 13th, 14th time frame of November. And it's looking similar to the storm. You could see we could start seeing some cold air penetrating into the system, producing quite a bit of cold air into the upstate northeastern part of the United States. And whether this system goes a little bit further to the south or north, we could be looking at a completely different setup. If it goes to the south, then, coastal areas may be getting onto the snow. If it's a little bit further to the north, then not much of the northeast at all will be getting into the snow, and more of the north central U.S. So this is a storm to look at. We will need to keep an eye on it for sure. We start seeing another storm making its way into the west. This is at this point already quite a bit far out, so at this point I would not be confident in anything that is showing to happen. We are looking at a fairly big warm-up, and you could tell that by the 540 line being way up here. You don't even need to go on the temperatures. If I go to the temperatures in just a minute, I'll show you them actually right now. You'll be just warm air. Yes, there will be. And that's marked again by that 540 line, which is way up further to the north. Again, like I mentioned, December is going to be a very, very hard month to predict. It could be starting off as warm, which is right now, December 1st. There's a big snowstorm, winter storm going on. Some warm in some portions of the country and some cold. But then we could cool off for about a week and a half, and then we don't really know what's going to happen. At this point, it looks like if we may start warming up, but that's still not set in stone. The teleconnections are going in the towards the direction that we may be warming up, so are the models. So this isn't necessarily looking the greatest month for snow lovers, the later part of December. But again, December is cold in nature, so if we go on here, you can see maybe some rain, some snow, a fairly active but not insanely active pattern. We're not going to be looking at, major storms. We could be looking at one significant storm right here, which we will definitely need to watch. But overall, we're looking at a rather interesting but not too active pattern, and that does happen sometimes. So if we look at the 6 to 10 day outlook, which is valid from 6th of December through the 10th, we're looking at colder temperatures across much of the country, excluding maybe extreme far portions of the southwest and southern Florida, but otherwise below average for much of the country. And this is the time frame where, like I mentioned, that week and a half where it's going to be a little bit cooler across the country. In terms of precip, maybe the south being above average, the north being a little bit below. We look over the 8 to 14 day outlook. This is where we could start seeing the things warm up, and we definitely see that marked by the map. A little bit more oranges, some yellows, not much blue going on across the country, a lot of neutral, which basically shows that the National Weather Service is not confident at all in what's going to happen, or this Climate Prediction Center, which is run by the National Weather Service, is not, sure at all what will happen. I mean, even the warm areas, 40% confidence, the blue areas, 40% confidence, not confident at all in what will happen. These colors aren't showing how cold it will be. They're showing how confident this Climate Prediction Center, the CPC, is in it being below or above average, which typically means if they're confident in it being like 90% confidence in it being below average, then typically it will be fairly cold, and same thing with it being warm. In terms of precip, maybe the East Coast starting to get a little bit more active. This is around that time where we could be looking at that one winter storm that I was talking about in the Northeast coming across, which could leave a swath of quite a bit precip. So we will need to start seeing the West maybe get more active. This is still a very, very confident, uncertain pattern that we're going into. Usually I would have more confidence into what we're going into. As of now, there's not much to even go off of. The models are kind of all over the place. The teleconnections are showing some signs of it warming up, but earlier they were showing signs of it cooling off. It's a little bit difficult to forecast this. As we go on, I will be making more long-range forecasts, more long-range outlooks, so I will be gaining more confidence in that, obviously, and I will be making my short-range forecasts, which I have more confidence in by nature due to the fact that it's only a couple days out. So overall, if you want to look at the total accumulated precipitation for the next several weeks, this is, I think, spanning out to 15 days, so around 2 weeks, we are looking at, again, the potential for a fairly rainy south, especially the southeast. This is just one model, the GFS, and, drier central part of the country and northern part, but again, the west getting still fairly slammed by those big storms and that heavy rain. If we were to look at the Canadian model, which only goes out to 240, same thing, a little bit further to the southeast though, with that heavier rain, and the west staying above average, but that north central part, the big swath right here of blues, that's mainly from that one storm that's going to be occurring today, which is occurring right now as I'm recording this video. Let's go to the European model, and let's go out to total rain accumulation. I want to show you the rain first, and let's go out to 10 days. Again, very similar to the GFS, and reflecting off what the Climate Prediction Center was saying. West being above average in terms of precip, maybe not as much above as the GFS is showing it to be, and the south and east being quite a bit above average. But this could all change again. Let's look at the new total snowfall accumulations. We're looking at a fairly, snowy pattern, especially I would say for the south central United States and the mid-Atlantic region. But in terms of the northern United States, not much going on. The far east, remember, maybe with that one winter storm that I was talking about in the beginning. But it seems like the west, and especially the northwest and portions of the south, could be seeing maybe some wintry weather that could be more remarkable than the rest of the country that's going to be going on. Because the rest of the country will just be somewhere around average, nothing remarkable. But the south and the west may be something more to remember and make the headlines this time around. Let's go to the GFS model, and let's just show you the let's just go back to hour 6 first. Let's go to the 2-meter temperatures anomaly, and that's basically showing you where it's going to be above or below average at what given time of the day. And again, I explained this a couple times already. The 6Z is around 2 o'clock in the morning of that particular day. 12Z is around 7 o'clock in the morning on that particular day. 18Z is around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon on that particular day. And then 00Z Sunday is around 7 o'clock in the afternoon, or in the evening. So it's around 4 to 5 hours kind of behind compared to what this actually means. In Military-wise, time, this would be 6Z would be 6 o'clock, 12Z would be 12 o'clock, 18Z would be 6 o'clock, and 00Z would be 12 o'clock in the morning. But again, with these models, with these databases, it's a little bit off. So we were looking at some cooler temperatures, but then the storm came up, bringing in warm temperatures, a little bit cooler in the areas where there was snow. And then we get a cold blast of air, which I was talking about. We could see that, week and a half, maybe 8, 10, 9 days of, cooler temperatures, but then it just starts warming up. We start seeing some cooler air, some warmer air, a mix of both. It's very uncertain what we're going into right now. But another thing I'd like to point out is, this is a quick little thing I'd like to share with you. There's this thing called an East Asia rule, and in East Asia, especially around the Korean peninsulas and Japan and Eastern China, there's gonna be whether it's gonna be cold or above average in terms of temps. There could be a reflection of that weather in the United States 6 to 10 days out from where this is occurring. So right now we're looking at that colder shot of air across East Asia, which could be indicative of a later December cold. Right now, again, they're seeing warm conditions right now, and that is that warm up that we will be seeing in about a week and a half. And see, this cold air comes in for quite a bit of time. This could be actually around the Christmas time, this cold air, and this warm air back again could be later, behind Christmas time. Because remember, it's 6 to 10, sometimes even more days out. So we could also always look at those organic forecasting methods compared to, the models which actually show you these temperatures. We could be looking, comparing the other parts of the northern hemisphere 6 to 10 days ahead of time, and we forecasting what's going to happen in our time 6 to 10 even more days out. So very interesting. Some things, meteorology is just a very fascinating thing we need to all look at and learn about. So let's look at the GFS. I'd like to show you this one last thing. And let's look at the total snowfall. I showed you the European total snowfall. Again, that one major storm that's occurring right now across the central part of the country. And again, that maybe that eastern storm that's going to be occurring around the 6th, 8th time frame of December. But again, the west seems fairly active. Maybe not as active as it was, but still much above average. So ski resorts looking very good for you guys if anyone's watching from the west. So basically that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something new. I will be making more long-range outlooks. I haven't been much time lately on these long-range and short-range updates, but I will be making more of these. So thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.